I just did it. Cool. Amazing.
I am
All
above
right.
the law.
What'd you say?
I am above the law.
I am the law. Cool, cool, cool. Well, let's kick off this episode with a little bit of a recap with a new narrator.
Last time, the party stood on the deck of the Gilded Pride as a monstrous creature with blackened skin emerged from the lower decks of the ghost ship, the Mary Sabine. Tall, gaunt, and with glowing blue eyes in both its face and chest, the creature carried an imposing and terrifying aura. A smoggy cloud enveloped it and spread onto the deck. Those caught within found themselves racked with necrotic pain just from its mere presence. As it raised its crooked fingers, it pointed at the group, and the sense of doom grew stronger. Striking out against the party, the creature tore at their flesh, but with radiant strikes of magic and steel, the party fought back. Anna, placing a glowing beam of moonlight directly onto the beast, caused it to screech in pain. The fight that followed did not last long, but it left a devastating wake. The creature's terrible aura spread necrosis among the party, and as it weakened, it once again raised a finger and pointed toward Anna, the one responsible for its ongoing pain. Its finger emitted an eerie blue glow and struck her in the chest. As the light pulsated, the last vestiges of Anna's life left her body. As Anna fell to the ground, the creature breathed deeply, appearing to swallow a glowing orb that left her body as she collapsed. Her fate unknown to her companions, the party fighting back aggressively in hopes of reviving their friend, managed to strike true and destroy the creature, reducing it to ash under the radiant strikes thrust upon it. However, the glowing life force it had consumed did not return to Anna after the creature's death. Racing to revive their fallen companion, the party attempted healing spells, but to no avail. Whatever this creature was, it spelled utter doom for those caught in its consuming wrath. Her body lay lifeless on the deck, but Himothy, taking a gold, shining scale from his pocket, attempted one last chance. He followed Leon's actions from an earlier time, this time calling Anna back to her body as the magic from the coin, like the granting of a wish, left the coin. From the smoldering pile of ash, the glowing orb of life emerged and floated back to Anna, and she breathed once more. Call it luck, good fortune, or divine providence, the party was reunited, though now they had exhausted the magic of the coins, whose power transcended that of any known on Kyrios. After recovering from the near loss, the group quickly abandoned the ghost ship and made their way toward the Devil's Pass, the final leg of the journey before reaching the Fountain of Youth. Reaching the pass, they were greeted by towering spires of rock and ice, stretching high into the sky. A deep, glowing red light from beneath the ice illuminated the scene, casting an ominous vision as if the waters were alight with fire. For 3 days, the party traversed the pass, enduring increasingly tormenting madness that pushed them and the crew to their limits. Through spells and distraction, most of the crew made it through safely, but one of Duzud's inner circle of reavers and the half-elf known as Finian were not so lucky. Madness had driven them to throw themselves into the ice-cold brine below, being lost forever to the blackness of the sea. Midway through the pass, the party encountered 3 great beasts, manticores. Their bodies resembled lions, their tails were like scorpions, and their heads vaguely humanoid. These beasts, in search of food, proposed a game, the lives of the crew in exchange for winning a challenge, but if the party lost, they would be dinner for the hungry monstrosities. The party solved their riddles, and, though frustrated, the manticores allowed them to venture onward, and as a parting gift, gave the party a sliver of ice from the pass, cold to the touch and glowing with the same red light seen in the depths, remarking it was a gift from their lady. As they continued through the pass, Viz, the golden dragon now stuck in his human form, experienced a life-draining crisis as the potion he had taken a few weeks prior wore off, and his necrotic blood infection returned with a vengeance. Weak and barely able to stand, Leon and Tinker poured magical healing into their friend to keep him alive. At the end of the pass, the party faced a wall of storm, violent and harrowing. Yet with Captain Tide's experience navigating treacherous seas, they made it through. On the other side, they emerged from the perpetual blackness of polar night into a warm, tropical ocean. Above, multiple celestial bodies hung in the sky. 2 suns, one yellow and the other pale blue, and 2 moons, one large and one small. The ship sailed onward through clear blue waters. The entire landscape appeared to glow with an orange-yellow-golden hue. Smaller islands were scattered around, some floating in the sky as if weightless, and others with strange ancient architecture visible in the distance. Straight ahead, however, an island, the location of the fountain. Only a few hours of sailing remained before landfall, and once anchored, it would be only about a half-day's travel to the place known only to the captain. A place where an old friend waits and where there is hope for restoring their dragon companion, whose life still hangs in the balance.
And that's where we pick up today. You are still an hour or so outside of the cove that you intend to anchor in, and you plan to head to the western side of the island. Sea so far is clear. Sailing is quite smooth, especially compared to the difficulties of the last few months. You can make out a place as you sail further along the coast, even far in the distance, so it looks like it might be a good place to anchor. Looking towards the shore, even this far out still, you see inviting beaches. And that's where we'll actually pick it up with anything you want to do and what little time there is before anchoring.
I have a question real quick. Is Tinka still exhausted?
Everyone is.
Okay.
Yeah, since coming through the storm wall, there's been no time for a full rest, and you start recovering after long rests when sleeping comfortably. Anyone with
As we're
anything?
sailing along, I
Mhm.
think Timothy's gonna like stand up on the top deck and take it all in, and kind of grip his hand around the hilt of Elentar and just be like, hey, pull it out. Hey, any of this seem familiar to you? And is there any reason I should be worried?
Answering those in the
Yes or no?
answer or questions as they came. Yes seems familiar. No does not seem dangerous.
Okay.
I think Leon probably, because I know he got the reading on his compass, so he probably checked that again just to see like what the, what does that show him?
Yeah, I mean, vaguely back in the direction that you came from, a little bit further. If we're looking at this map to the like southeast of where you're coming in. Um, as you're doing this, roll for me a. Let's just call this insight. I think is probably the best option.
Hmm.
Um, it's hard to say exactly what feelings you're getting. Something isn't quite the same about this, but what, it's hard to tell. Um, the last time it was like very clear where you were supposed to go, what you were supposed to do. Granted, you also had the guidance of Trisva, the pale purple elf, the lilac elf. This time it just seems off. That's about all you can really muster at this point. Seems off.
Hmm. Okay, I guess as it's off, Leon will just kind of be a little suspicious of things then, I suppose.
Okay. Anyone else?
I
If-
mean, I'm assuming the only thing I could think of that I would have to pull as a reference would be the Fey Wilds, and I'm
Mhm.
assuming this doesn't quite resemble the Fey Wilds either. Like everything's not quite right.
Yeah, so give me a let's do this as a history check. I mean, you've just spent I mean, it's been a month or so now since your return, but you've just spent years there. Um the hues don't match. Okay. Yeah, the hues don't match, the coloration, everything seems really like close to like Kyrosian or Kyrian landscape. Um the trees that you're seeing, the mountains you can see in the far off distances, the islands, like it's all similar, but it's like vaguely similar. Um, something's just not quite the same as where you came from. Probably the most that you can gather as far as like drawing on where you just were is this is even further removed from what the Feywilds seemed like, right? Under the like magenta sky, this soft glowing pink and purples of most of the natural landscape there. Um, the types of flora and fauna were drastically different. Um, it's different. It's very clear that it's different, but how different, it's hard to say. I think probably what you have, and I'll give you this even with a 5, uh, this isn't Kyrios anymore. I think you all kind of get that sense, the fact that there are two suns, two moons, the landscape is different, but what it is, I don't think anyone really has any idea, no concept for.
Is there a sign that says "Welcome to Endor"?
Did you say indoor?
Yeah, Endor's got 2 moons. Isn't
Such a nerdy reference. No signs to say welcome to indoors. No Wookiees, uh, which is from Kashyyyk, not Endor, but still.
What are those little hamster-looking guys, like humanoid hamsters?
Oh my god.
Ewoks.
Yeah, can we have a couple of those?
No, there are no Ewoks, no little wickets running around, which was the name of one of the Ewoks. You're still on the boat, right? So like, it's still hard. You're looking at all this from a distance still, right? But you do see the coast. You're sailing along the coast at this point. If nothing else, let's sail inward. Only an hour or so, sailing along the coast. You do see these stone cliff faces, rocky cliff faces. You see the mountains. You can really start to make out this island landscape quite a bit more as you're sailing in. It's very much like what you would expect for like is the word deciduous forest, but also mixed with jungle type of flora. Um, it's strange that both of these are kind of blending in. But you do see as you kind of move into this cove, mostly jungle, kind of like a whole forest of sorts. As you get to a good place where you think you can anchor, there's really two options. There's further into the cove, and then there's also you could like take the ship almost all the way in. You actually see a little closer to shore the remnants of another long anchored ship. It's slightly tilted to one side, and it appears to be resting in too shallow of water. Ty, do you recognize this ship? This is the ship you originally sailed in on, the Bright Swan, as it was called. Mostly a merchant type vessel, though outfitted for this journey. Its hull is still cracked in a few places from where it navigated the past in your last voyage, but it wasn't really ever meant to be abandoned, but it was left here nonetheless.
He'll point it out and he'll offer that information up to everyone else.
So there'd be like no reason to search it. Like there's nothing on it.
It would have some supplies, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do we need any? We've been through this passage. Is there? Do we need to stock up?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on things, and I don't think we need to stock up.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
if that's your ship that you took the last time over there, how'd you get out of here?
That'll come in time. You'll see. You'll find the journey back is a lot easier.
Do we have to leave this ship behind? Because all of our stuff is on this ship.
No,
You got the bottle.
You'll have the
Yeah.
We have
bottle.
the
Right, we
bottle.
have the bottle. Okay.
Well, even if it's not necessarily supplies, anything important on that ship otherwise that maybe we need to grab, or not particularly?
I mean, it's the remnants of your old crew, right? They're probably clothing that were left behind, things that they didn't take into the jungle with them. Maybe the old captain's logs.
I would imagine Tide would have already grabbed that stuff.
Yeah, in the time
Since
that
he
you
was-
spent here,
yeah.
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 So yeah, it was pretty well scavenged. Otherwise, you can see where the sails and stuff have kind of like either blown off in storms that may have hit over the years or rotted away. Hard to say. You don't really know how much time has passed. You just remember from the last time you were here that time disparity is a thing while you were here. It's things that you've kind of experienced from other locations. What happens in these other places isn't exactly what's happening back on Kyrios. Time passes, sometimes slower, sometimes faster. Or so it seems. You can choose to anchor offshore if you want to try and like bring everyone in via boats or whatever, whoever's going, whoever's staying. Um, I would imagine most of the crew volunteers like they have last time to like if you're going to put the ship in the bottle, stay behind. They're not really meant for these kinds of journeys, treks, and stuff, and it's a good place of protection at the very least. Bryn will come and kind of like say he'll spearhead anything that happens while you guys are gone. If you intend to leave the ship, however, they can also scour the island and see if they can find supplies, anything that they might need, make an encampment, etc.
We would have to bring Viz, right? Because he is
Yeah.
gonna hopefully get healed.
Yeah, he'll need to go with you through this at least part of the jungle. There probably won't be a place to pull the ship out inland.
Right. Okay, Tundra, can you come with us and help us? I don't know how much you'll be able to walk.
Of course.
Thank you. Are you okay with that, Viz?
Yes, of course. It would be nice to have someone strong who can help carry, perhaps.
Okay, then let's go with that for now. Just try and hang in there. We're almost there.
When you find him, he's kind of gone back below deck in at the end of the last part of the session. He had gone above deck to see the landscape and to see the suns, and he felt like briefly a little bit stronger being here, but he's still in a pretty bad way. He's not walking much on his own. He had to get help from Leon last time to get above deck, and so when you come and find him, I mean, he's very much taking it easy. You can see where he's still clutching. It's like previously, like the wound that was open, it's just been bandaged and he's been fine, and at least while the potion was in effect. But like now, you can see where it's spreading and kind of growing across his body even more. Some of those veins and lines moving up his neck and across his chest.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 on the icky factor, how icky?
Like a 7.
Oh, gross. Okay.
Pretty bad.
We gotta, guys. He's looking pretty icky. We gotta really get this going.
Yeah, it's like over the last few days, especially going through the pass, you've noticed over time just how much it's spreading, how rapidly it's spreading by comparison. It's like whatever magic was in the potion was enough to stave it off. Your healing magics are enough to kind of keep him ambulatory. He can move, but outside of that, he's in a bad way.
All right, so we kind of just hurry up, get the crew stowed away in the bottle, then, and then I guess start heading inland as soon as we can. Then I guess, right?
Yeah, as you guys are having this conversation, you do see the little goblin Beef running up, trying to like tug at Tinka's shirt and trying to tag along as well. He wants to go with
Okay,
you.
Beef, you can come with us. You can here,
Beef.
hold my hand. Let's go.
Beef. And he just looks like a little old man almost because of this goblin-y, wrinkly face. You have no idea how old he is, but he acts very much like a toddler in these moments.
Yeah.
So you kind of like
He's my
drag him
baby.
along. Yeah. He's probably like 800, but yeah, who's to say?
Tomato, potato, you know?
Right. Tomato French toast. Right. Exactly. But yeah, it's not terribly difficult to find a good spot to be able to park the ship and be offshore, like on the shore, so you don't have to like leave anything behind. You do find a place where you can anchor successfully and put the ship in the bottle. Yeah, the only people who do come with you outside of Viz are Tundra and Beef. Everyone else stays on board. Looking at the coastline, it's like I said, pretty jungle heavy, kind of as you're looking forward, but there's also a pretty clear path inland. And Tide, you know this to be exactly the way you're supposed to go. It's basically just a straight shot where you're headed. This path doesn't wind and curve too much. It does, as far as you remember, does get a little more overgrown. The trek isn't particularly arduous. It's about a half a day's journey or so inland through the jungle. It's not really exactly a beaten path, but it is kind of like a naturally occurring follow this line. You go through the jungle and then you end up in a clearing, kind of like a water basin, and then continuing on through a little bit of jungle area, and then in the opening of one of the tall mountains is a cave that's protected by an old guardian. For this, we're going to just do one round of it. I need 2 people to make checks for me. First of all, a navigation check, and then the second one is a survival. Navigation is just going to be a wisdom, so d20 plus your wisdom modifier, and then survival is straight roll for survival.
All right. Well, Doozwood is here to help if anyone needs anything. I gotta shoot still.
Yeah, I think he's probably got pretty good nature. Doesn't he? What's his survival stat?
Yeah, is
Plus
that what?
6.
Oh,
Yeah.
not nature. What would? Oh wait, what?
He's got a plus 6 for survival.
Oh yeah, I can do a survival check for him.
Yeah. Perfect.
What was the other one?
So it's just a d20 plus your wisdom. So just a wisdom roll. Why did I say it like that? Wisdom. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a super hard place to find, and especially you, remember, actually go ahead and roll that again since you've been here before, and you're the one doing it. Perfect, even better. Now I need someone else to roll for me a D100.
Ooh. Yeah,
Oh, you
do
got
it.
this? Oh,
No,
okay.
do it. I love D100s. They're my favorite die. Like, in real life, they're like a giant golf ball.
All right.
Let me go find this. Okay. So it's a few hours trekking inland, and it's actually not, like I said, not particularly difficult for how the landscape is shaped. It's difficult because you're trying to carry with you a very wounded person. Tundra makes it a lot easier, basically like holding Viz, he's not like carrying him exactly, but he is providing such a stable platform for to be able to like walk along. He's basically Viz's crutch. So a couple hours going through, and you begin to see some of the rock faces a little bit more clearly. One of the rock formations that you see, you actually come across like a few different rock formations. They resemble sculptures. They seem like some kind of remains of something. You can make for me, maybe the closest thing here would be a history check. Anybody who's wanting to observe them.
You guys
I
want me to talk
can-
to it?
I can do a history check.
Cool. Yeah, you get to do yours at advantage because of your correlation to
Okay, good.
Fey things. Awesome.
30-20.
Dirty 20 is good. Yeah, something about these. There's no like inscription or anything in there. It's just like carvings, and you've actually seen carvings like these before, back on Farangul. Something a little bit more elemental in nature, almost like this was a place of ritual at one point, where these stones seem to have been shaped by some kind of long forgotten magic. They're not natural to the area, but the carvings, especially in it, you saw. Though we didn't actually explore what this particular ritual would have looked like, there was the storm song, rite of the storm song, that was taking place before you guys left, and there are these stone plinths that were on the beach that look kind of oddly similar, same kind of elemental nature to them. But you do see one carving that has a sort of emblem that looks like the two suns and the two moons, kind of circumventing the entire structure. Outside of that, there's not like particularly anything unique about them. Just they are here for much longer. There's so much overgrowth. They probably were used at one time for something else. Hard to say though. It's a bummer random roll.
Well, it's really cool. I wouldn't say it's a bummer, but
Yeah, I mean, like of 100 options, it's fine. But yeah, it's unique in that you've seen similar stuff before, and so far this is the first thing you kind of recognize with any kind of similarity, right? The elemental nature of what that and I'll give you this for free. Well, not even for free. It's because of your history check. It does seem tied to the same type of ritual that was occurring back on that other island. You also
do
kind
I
of
think
Mhm.
do I think they're just similar, or do I think someone from our plane came here and did this a long time ago?
You can make that summation for yourself. I'm not going to tell you what you think necessarily. The question maybe to ask is it from your plane that came here, or from this plane that went there?
But it is similar enough, not just matching, that it's one or the other, was more my question.
Yeah. They are close enough in the type of construction, if you want to call it that, the magic that might have created them, the overall design, the type of engravings, and that elemental capacity. It does, like, they're paralleled. I think probably what you're able to surmise is, you know that only humans are from Kyrios. Perhaps all of Farangul came from a place like this planet. Untouched otherwise by human civilization. They were all beast folk. They also had no connection, as far as you're aware, to Tetris. There's no temple on the island. Nothing that kind of correlated otherwise. They seemed to be like uniquely removed, except that they spoke common.
Weird. All right.
You continue trekking inwards through this jungle. Again, not particularly difficult to follow. This little bit of weaving path through. The light of the suns peeks through often. The more radiant golden sun, but still overhead you can see this more pale light sun also sort of peek through. And every once in a while, the color shifts from this like golden radiance to more close to the colors, the white type of sun. Well, like it's still a yellow sun, but like the closer to the yellow sun that we're used to. The coloration kind of shifts back to a little bit more normalized colors. It's a little bit disorienting as it happens because it does fluctuate here and there. And Tide, last time you were here, you don't remember seeing these same planets, the same suns and moons. You remember one of each, but this time it's like very clear. And actually, last time, the one you remember is the pale sun, not this yellow sun. But you continue onward. And after a few hours of trekking, you come to a break in the jungle.
Oh, it's really pretty. It's like Jurassic Park.
In the midst here of the island are, you can see kind of these towering jagged peaks and cliff faces. You've been able to see them as you've made your way through the jungle and just further inland in general, especially from the beach. You could see them far off in the distance, but now you're seeing them more clearly. They seem to be kind of surrounding this basin area. You do eventually breach where the edge of the jungle is, and it's a clearing with a basin, or it is a basin with like shallow pools that are kind of scattered throughout. Um, Here in kind of like this midst of the inner island, you can see how the mountain peaks rise all around. That creates almost a bowl, but also a sort of protection for the path that you're on. And at the far end of the basin, just at the edge of view, you can make out more of that jungle growth and an opening, which is most likely the path forward.
Just because he got a little unsettled before, Leon's gonna check his like compass again, I guess.
Yeah, you go to look at your arm. You kind of like, you've been able to feel it as these things have happened before. Here, there's nothing. It's like what tingle there was left as soon as you stepped on land, and especially when you got further inland. It's now there's nothing. There's no. You don't even know what direction it was.
Okay.
And navigating, especially under these two suns, is a little difficult. You don't know. It's not the same kind of orientation. Rise in the east, set in the west. You don't know how these work and move, and especially after a couple hours of traveling, they don't seem to have moved much.
Has there been any sign of life while we're here? Even like like bees or anything? Or animals of any kind?
Yeah, let's say give me a perception check for a little bit of continuity. Yeah.
13.
Yeah, probably the strangest thing about this whole venture is, I don't want to say like lack of life. You've been able to, especially like here, you could hear signs of animals here and there. What might have been birds chirping, um, bugs moving around, but mostly what you've heard is kind of almost like a muffled version of it. Like the sound isn't quite carrying all of the way, but signs nonetheless.
All right. Just for shits and giggles, can I use divine sense?
Yeah, please.
All right, just feeling out 60 feet in all directions for anything with the hallow spell or any celestial fiend, undead.
Yeah, 60 feet, not very far, right? It's kind of your immediate vicinity. Um, if there was anything, it would be like at the site of strong evil, right? If something like that were around. Um, there doesn't seem to be anything particularly evil. Nothing celestial fiend or undead. That's not entirely true. You get a feeling of celestial, but it's from all around you. under you in the air, in the trees. It's like you cast this divine sense and you're overwhelmed with like a bright radiance for celestial from every direction.
I'm gonna say something weird, guys. I don't know if this is right. Is it possible we're on something? Because I'm picking up so much celestial presence that it almost feels like the thing we're on is a celestial.
With that, Timothy's gonna like use his as well, just to like, double check what
Get a
Anna's
sense.
saying, and if I'm feeling the same thing, I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, I just did my thing and I feel it too.
When you do that, you get a sense from Elentari that says yes.
And Elentari is saying yes.
Uh,
I mean,
I
I believe it. I've never really given it too much thought. I just knew this place was special.
Leon, if it's alive and it's celestial, can you talk to it?
Give me a religion check.
Oh, I'm rolling it?
No, Leon.
Good, good. Can I help him? Just
Yeah,
okay,
I'll let
give
you give
me-
the help action for sure. If you want to
Okay, I let him hold
roll
Beef's
at
hand and he
advantage.
feels inspired.
Inspired by the beef.
It did not.
It's fine. It's like he's got like this really good attunement to life and the astral sea, and then Beef touches his hand, he gets a little bit distracted and has to shake it off. You don't think you can commune exactly, Leon, but you feel it. You feel life here that is unique. It is not the same as Tetris and the Celestials that you are aware of. Not like the angels, the battle angels, but it is an energy that you resonate with at some level.
I don't think this area is alive per se, but it is certainly it is certainly celestial in nature. It is definitely unique, I think, amongst the what we know of.
Well, what do you guys think? What do we do?
I think we just keep going forward.
Yeah, we gotta help Fizz.
Gotta help Fizz.
Gotta help Fizz. Tide, you know this place. You've been here plenty of times. This is a place that you would have journeyed back through, and I mean it's just this place of beauty. Everything here is tranquil, and actually, when you guys walk into this space, the air kind of feels a little cooler and fresher outside of the jungle. You see these immense tranquil pools. This largest one in front of you having like this glassy kind of surface, and in the distance you do see waterfalls cascading down from these high ridges and water spilling over these mossy cliffs. And the sound of the waterfall, talking about hearing things, Anna, you can hear it, and it sounds soothing, but it sounds more just like dull white noise than it does what you would expect from a waterfall otherwise. Around the mists that are kind of rising from where it crashes into the waters below, there's this little bit of golden haze that's lingering as the sunlight creates this unique aura almost. And beyond the pool, you see the mountains. They stretch upwards, and some are quite sharp. Some are more cliff faces. These dark silhouettes that are piercing this little bit of twilight type sky as the suns are a little lower. They're casting this soft amber glow through breaks and clouds. And so the water and the mists, they kind of shimmer here and there with that pale golden light. And the shadows of the peaks are stretching quite long as far as you can see. But the scene is peaceful, serene. As you're here, you have this sense that it's almost sacred. Do we trudge forward?
He'll point to a couple spots on the way.
Okay. Yeah.
And in the water here, and he'll be like, "This is where I came to practice my wild shaping." Stuff like that.
Yeah, and Tide, you know there are animals here, right? And a lot of them are just the same type of animals that you would see back home. Wolves and deer, birds of all sorts, and you've been able to, especially since you've been here last time, you could probably recall what some of them are like. Wild shaping into birds, eagle-like creatures. But yeah. As you step off into the water, actually, I don't want to say that you do that, but you would have to step into the water to traverse further. Do you guys go?
Yes.
Silence is agreement.
I
Yeah,
suppose so.
Tinka doesn't like water, but she doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, water and Anna doesn't really mix great, but
Tundra, as you're like taking all this in, Tinka, he can sense your reservation, and he like reaches down low to like offer you to like stand up on and like get up on his shoulder if you want to, being small.
Tinka's gonna bring beef with her.
Yeah. So
We're a snowman.
Tundra does like a little bit of a backpack maneuver and like brings Viz up as well. And so it's like one of you on each one of his shoulders, and then he's also kind of just kind of like holding you guys aloft. And awesome.
For those that want it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
take it.
Too late, we're back.
And you end up casting it on him, so he's not even in the water, he's just walking above it. Which is good. I mean, he's a heavy creature. But you step off into the water, the once calm pool kind of churns and breaks into waves, and you begin to feel this deep, resonant rumble beneath your feet. The sound echoes off these big cliffs that are surrounding you, and it grows louder with each passing step. You could see loose rock and rubble kind of begin to fall from the mountain edges and from the stone platform that's at the center. And with the ground kind of trembling, it starts to look like it's rising. With a great kind of groaning, creaking sound, the form of this colossal figure rises up, made of ancient twisted root, gnarled branches, and jagged stone, and it kind of lumbers upward. It towers above you.
Tree guy.
Oh no.
You could see.
Can
Uh-huh.
can I use divine sense again?
Yeah, not celestial fiend, undead, anything like that.
All right, cool.
Yeah. You can see just how big its body is. I mean, by comparison, this thing is 60, 70, 100 feet tall. It's tall as the trees. And it kind of blends in with the landscape here and there. I mean, in fact, it looked like part of the landscape just a moment ago before it stood. He's got this thick vines hanging from its massive limbs and moss that drapes his back almost like clothing. Its eyes glow with this almost molten-like kind of consistency and intensity, and there's a little bit of an eerie light that comes out of that you like kind of see getting cast on the water. Its mouth seems a little jagged, but it also just kind of looks like roots that have grown into where teeth would be. So it's a little jagged and uneven, and it pulls it into this kind of twisted smile. It's got that same kind of fiery glow from somewhere deep within, and as it moves, even just kind of pressing itself upward, the earth continues to shake and move, and its massive arms sway like these giant limbs.
Who dare enter the sacred ground?
Leon, Tide, I think this is your part.
Yeah, Anna's just gonna look over at Leon.
Leon's just gonna kind of quickly look at Tide, like, is this a friend of yours, or should I do the honors?
Tide, you've never seen this before.
You go. New to me.
Hello. It's just us. We're trying to get help for our friend. We're not really here to, dare anyone. We're here to pass peacefully.
You seek the tear.
Leon kind of looks back at Ty, like, the tear? Like, is that what we're after?
I'm gonna DM you something, Tide.
Okay.
While you do that, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. You go for it.
With Viz being as old as he is, could Viz do a history check to see if he knows anything about this?
I would say normally probably yes. He's in no condition to do anything. Like, he's just struggling to stay on his feet.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, and you can see as you guys are having this interaction, like he's hanging on for dear life, just trying to stay not passed out.
Yeah, we're here for the tier.
Oh, okay. And Leon will look back and he'll this time he'll point at Viz and his obvious distress. He'll be like, yeah, the tier, yeah, that's what we're here for. You see my friend over there? He's been really rough shape. We've been trying to help him for a long time. This is we're here for the tier.
You bring with you the rot of old darkness, the stain of corrupted life, and the abyss. You cannot pass into the heart of the island.
But we need don't we need to take him there?
We're trying to cleanse the corruption.
Words are but wind. I have seen too much death brought by those who speak of peace while carrying evil. Prove to me that you walk the path of light, not shadow.
Leon will just kind of like step forward and like stand up straight, and he'll just be like, I welcome that. How can I prove to you?
Perhaps a trial.
Yeah. And if I pass it, you'll let us pass with our friend to get him cured. He doesn't have much time left.
I don't suppose you would accept us using Zone of Truth and saying what we just said again?
Mere magics are fleeting in this place. There's a test much greater. Come.
He starts to like just turn kind of backwards, and he moves a little bit out of the way, and you feel again the whole pool kind of shaking and the water's rolling a little bit. And as he turns, you see behind him this unique scene. Out of the pool are these orange kind of glowing roots that move up. Tide, you have seen this before, but don't know that you would necessarily know exactly what this is. But it's pervasive across the whole island. these roots can be seen here and there, and especially at times when radiant things are occurring. I say a little vaguely. Um, as you were practicing your magic, sometimes you would be touched by these orange roots, and it would just give you a little bit more umph. Something deep that these roots are tied to, and they come from everywhere. He motions over to the roots.
Greed is the seed of great evil, a mark of deep corruption. All living beings are bound to something, a possession or possessions tied to their souls, a reflection of their heart. To prove purity, offer the Great Mother a sacrifice of true value, something of immense worth, bound to you. In return, Solvana will judge your intent. Should your offering be sincere and selfless, she may grant you a boon. But be warned, if corruption holds sway over your heart, the Mother's judgment can be harsh and unforgiving.
The roots kind of look like almost hands reaching upwards to receive.
I'll step forward.
When you do, the roots grow forward and create this kind of like shelf in which you could place an item. Something, if you so choose, of value.
He will take Wildthorn and its sheath off of his belt and place it there.
The roots grasp and draw it deep into the bottom of this platform. As it does, the light begins to radiate outward and kind of pulse through.
She has accepted your gift.
Do you need more gifts?
All must pass this test.
Okay, Tinka will step up next.
Okay.
And Tinka's gonna go about this a little bit of a different way. Instead of placing an item, she's gonna cut her hand and place her blood on the altar and say, I offer my health, my life, to save his. If I can't save him, I don't want to be here. I don't want to live without him.
You do this, and the vines wrap around your hand, the roots, and they glow with this ethereal orange light, and your hand is healed.
She has accepted this gift.
Tinka will just nod and walk back.
Okay, Leon will step up, I guess. And he's gonna pull out of in his bag. He still has like the first holy symbol that he got from the father in Tetroas. So he's gonna pull that out and he's gonna say like a prayer on it, and he's gonna put that in there.
The roots once again kind of curl around as if to grasp the holy symbol, and it pulls deep into the bottom of this kind of pit area where they're growing from. Just a few moments pass, that pulsing light again kind of radiating outwards.
Your gift has been accepted.
Timothy's going to step up. He's going to take off the amulet that his brother had given him, so long ago. It's the only thing that he has to remember his brother by, like, physically, but he knows deep down, what he's doing for with this quest. It's, ultimately to, keep his brother safe, and he knows eventually he'll have to go back home, and he'll offer the amulet up.
The roots wrap around the amulet, and they don't even pull it downwards. It's like what you're thinking when you hand this over. The roots touch your own hand and they begin to glow and pulse and then let go.
She has accepted this gift.
I don't carry a lot of things that I can give up on me. Shit.
Also, yeah, like with Duzud, I don't want to offer any of his stuff. Like, I could offer the labor of the Reavers, or we could say that he stayed on the boat.
Just have him give up a pistol. He's got 2 of them.
No, I can't do that without his permission. They're his items. Can we just say he stayed on the boat?
Sure.
I just don't want to give away his stuff without him being here.
I think. Okay. Anna will think for a moment about what she has that wouldn't make her totally defenseless. And she has a scroll of pedigree that sort of like talks about like the history of the family she grew up in, and is sort of like her proof of being nobility to them, and she's going to step up and put that on the shelf.
Well, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I could have given up the signet ring, but I have a plan that involves the signet ring later.
That's fine.
So I'm gonna go with the scroll of pedigree.
It's good. What it represents is your claim to nobility, right? Like the signet ring also kind of does it, but the scrolls are what you would show, the papers you would show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The roots once again kind of wrap downwards and take it into the pit below.
Your gift has been accepted.
The roots all begin to pulse and glow more. They reach out, and for each one of you, you feel a warmth as the roots kind of begin to grow up your legs. For everyone whose gift was accepted, you get a +1 to any feat or thing that you would choose. It could be strength, charisma, whatever.
Ever?
Yeah, it's a permanent +1.
Oh my god.
Oh, damn.
So like
Sorry,
so
ignore that.
like a 16
Your
would become a
stats.
17 or
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
okay.
your stats go up by 1.
Just like one of them goes up by one once,
Permanently.
like permanently. That's okay.
Yeah. You feel that kind of like radiant nature of these roots. You can feel as it's like pulsing into you. If you choose strength, you get stronger. If you choose wisdom, your mind becomes clearer. If you choose intelligence, your understanding of this place grows. If whatever you choose, it seems to grow in your understanding of who and what this might represent. Tide, this being used the term Solvana and the Great Mother. Those are terms you have heard before. Your friend talked about them. But I won't dive into much more detail at the moment. You're just familiar with those concepts.
Okay.
As you feel the roots kind of recede and go back, the orange glow begins to dissipate. You can still see where the roots lay, but they just grow into brown, green kind of roots. The creature moves slowly as to avoid hitting you all and begins to lay back down.
You may pass.
As it lowers itself to the surface slowly, gingerly, waves do continue to kind of move around, and the ground rumbles, but he creates with his body a raised path to the remainder of, or through the remainder of these pools over to the other edge.
I think while passing, Tinka would probably be slightly crying, and all she would muster was "bless you."
Make for me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you don't necessarily notice anything.
Yeah, she's a little distracted with a lot going on, and that he's a giant tree man,
Big tree man, big tree boy.
and she's still holding Beef's hand.
Gripping beef tight.
Before we get too far, there is a tree that Leon remembers. A couple of trees actually. Does he get any sense that these trees are similar to those trees?
Make for me a history check. Hard to say.
Hmm.
Oh my god, he's the Lorax.
Being given the freedom to move onward, you watch as the Guardian has lowered itself and created this place. Its enormous body, like laying flat, basically creates this stone ground, rocky tree surface. Um, just a straight path, easy enough to walk along. Tundra, still holding on to Viz, will kind of be the first to progress forward and head for the path. And once you get there, back on the path, it's not much further now. Just another hour or two to the cave. Let's do another navigation check, wisdom, and then a survival check, and then one more D100.
I can do the survival on Tinka since I got rid of too soon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's solid. And Tide, if you do it, you get to do it at advantage for the navigation.
Okay, which one's that again?
Just a wisdom roll, D20 plus your wisdom modifier.
Straight wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to add navigation as a skill.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm surprised they don't, but I guess it's because not a lot of people play with like sea travel. And
But they have like the navigator's tools though.
I know
and
they
so
do.
That's
Yeah.
what made me think that like they would at least have something attached to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who's got the D100? Should I get it, or does anyone else want it?
You got it.
Oh, are we D100?
One more D100.
Go for it. Go for it.
It's all your
Ooh.
fault when we.
That's so impressive, actually. Oh my
Low, yeah.
god.
We don't know if that's good or bad, though.
I know that's not. We don't know if that's good or bad. That's so incredibly impressive.
Well, it'll be interesting because I mean, I'm sure they'll put something like on the extremes of the range.
You get back on the path, and behind you, you hear rumbling again. You look back, and you can see just the top of the head of this creature as it moves back. As it happens, though, what little bit of animal noises you had heard grow eerily quiet. And you can see the branches of the treetops kind of shaking and moving around all around you.
Look around for anything, looks like it's disturbing the trees.
Make a perception check. You see at the very top of the trees a large bird that is just kind of like it's not flying, but it's kind of like jumping from tree to tree, and as it does, is as large as it is, seems to be like dragging the tree branches with it behind.
Does it? I guess Leon will like point it out to everyone. Like, does it look like it's a threat, or is it just a tree hopping bird over there? Like, what?
You can make an insight check. It don't look super friendly.
Leon's gonna point it out, and he's just everyone prepare. It might be hostile. Watch out.
Can I cast Speak with Animals on myself?
Sure.
All right. Is it looking at us?
You give me a perception check. An advantage since Leon calls it out.
16.
It doesn't appear to be. The silented noises otherwise seem to kind of have it distraction, and it's looking further to the west. It's not looking down. It's only a few hundred feet from you guys, up in the treetops, but it's not looking your direction at the moment.
Okay. Is it saying anything? Like, is it mumbling anything?
Best you can tell, it's just like grumbles, like angry grumbles.
Okay. I'm not gonna say anything to draw its attention yet, but if it looks at us now, I can talk to it at least, or if I hear it talking about anything, I can hear it.
Yeah. After just a few moments, you hear it go, hungry, hungry.
It's hungry. It's looking for food. So everybody don't draw attention to us.
Do we have food we can give it?
I have a feeling that with a bird that large, we don't have enough rations on us to feed it, unfortunately.
Yes.
Wait. Good berry. Good berry. The good berry makes it feel full.
Size for scale, this thing is gargantuan.
But the good berry, it doesn't matter, does it? The good berry will make it feel full.
Maybe.
Feel full and actually being full are two different things, though.
Well, we can try. But let's save that for a
But
backup
what
plan in
if it-
case it approaches us.
Yeah, what if it
Yeah.
doesn't work? I'd rather try to, leave that
Oh,
as plan B.
Let's not approach it, but if that happens, we go with the good berry.
You're gonna try and move on stealthily?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Like, I would actually think, like, why don't we wait here for it to leave if it's hopping between trees?
Another good idea. Either way, I'm gonna need a stealth check from the group.
Hell yeah, dude, stealthy.
What are we doing though? Are we moving away or are we staying put?
My vote would be stay put.
I'm exhausted, so
All right.
it matters that much.
Oh, great.
I think most of us are, right? I should be rolling twice. Too.
Yeah, I'll
I haven't marked as I'm being exhausted anymore on my sheet.
Yeah, you used some really cool spells that kept you from suffering it. Just do this as a flat roll if you're not moving. I would say it would be an advantage otherwise. But for those who are exhausted, just do it as a flat roll. If you move, it's going to be a regular roll type.
I think we're staying where we are. I think that's kind of what the consensus seemed to be.
Yeah. Math. Bridget, can you do one for Duzud? Oh, or no, you're saying he didn't come with you. I
He's
need to
saving
do
the
one
bow,
for Beef and for Tundra.
You want me to
Guys.
just roll a 20?
Nah, it's okay. Got it.
Okay.
18, 11, and 12. Okay, well, those are all passes. Yeah, collectively as a group, you succeed. Beef has a little bit of a hard time, but like Tinkes, you're like shh, and that's maybe what draws your voice up a little bit. But then he like realizes that's what's going on. He gets really quiet and still and doesn't move. He's just like, you see his eyes darting back and forth in his head. But he gets still. You guys stay still. Yeah, it Anna, you hear more of the hungry, hunt, hungry. And then after only 2 or 3 minutes or so, these enormous 40 foot wingspan wings flap, and it sends this big gust down towards you, and it takes off from the tops of the trees. Seem to be clear for now.
All right, I guess proceed forward.
Yeah. Tide, it's a pretty easy go from here, as far as you remember. You have made this trek to the basin quite a few times. So, other than thick overgrowth, it's not terribly difficult to find. You're headed for a specific cave side or mountainside. So you venture on, and have finally kind of approach this clearing at the foot of a cave. It takes another maybe 2 hours of walking. As you enter into this area, you can see like the hollow areas around the mountainside where the cave entrance is. There's a low rumble that seems to echo through the stone. Can I have everyone make me another stealth check?
Hell yeah.
And do it for these boys. Ooh, not as good. 19, 6, and 5. Okay, so this time, maybe not as quiet. Maybe Beef is getting a little excitable after this amount of travel. He hasn't really been out with you guys like this before. So he's beef here and there. But you see, as this kind of rumbling is happening, out from the shadows emerges the largest spider that any of you have ever seen.
Aww.
Let's see. Put you on the cave map first.
Oh my god.
It is far bigger than any of the giant spiders you have seen or heard about. The ones that you didn't exactly encounter in Midport, but the ones you were aware of. This creature is more like a nightmare made real. This massive body covered in thick armored carapace, bristling with these thorny spines that catch the dim light that filter through the trees. You can see venom slowly dripping from its long, jagged fangs, falling in thick droplets to the ground. Its eyes, numerous and black, fixed on all of you. It seems to have clocked you. Cold eyes. But then the spider slowly and cautiously steps back toward the mouth of the cave, the enormous legs moving with quite a bit of grace, each step sending a little bit of a tremor through the ground. And it pauses, still, watching, and then begins to move backwards into the cave, retreating slowly, stealthily, into the dark recesses. Moves out of view.
That's where we're headed.
Nice.
And how are we supposed to get past that?
Ask nicely.
Can I do a history check on spiders?
Sure.
Hell yeah, bro.
What do you
With
want to know?
Tide saying ask nicely, Timothy's just gonna elbow Leon and be like, yeah, you're good at that.
I suppose.
Dinko, what do you want to know?
What spider, like, what are predators to spiders? Like, what are they afraid of?
Big birds.
Fuck.
Oh.
And are spiders considered an animal?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think that's all. Is there anything? I think that's all. Big bird and considered an animal. And wait, one more. Do they talk? Like, do they speak any language?
Giant spiders? No, if they're an animal, no, they don't speak.
Okay.
Yeah, not like Aragog from Harry Potter. More like Shelob
I
from
like
Lord of the
spiders.
Rings.
I've only seen Lord of the Rings once. I don't really remember.
Big bad spider tries to kill all the ones that come to its cave.
Well,
Eats orcs.
oh, eats orcs?
Well, in the movie it does.
Yeah, we don't like orcs, so that's good.
You racist? Orcs are a whole
No,
race of
orcs
people.
are evil in Lord of the Rings.
Not in this game.
They're bad. Yeah, in
There might
that
be some
context.
good orcs. Come on.
We've
Jeez.
never met an orc, have we?
Yeah, the guy that sold you the boat in Midport, and you have 2 half orcs
Mhm.
on your crew.
Oh, he was great. Yeah.
Oh.
The guy who
No.
sold us the boat was great.
Okay, let me rephrase. Lord of the Ring orcs are evil. Outside of that, they're probably great, but none of them exist in real life, so it doesn't really matter what I say.
Bridget out here
Thank you.
with the hot takes.
How long has it been since we saw the bird?
An hour or 2, maybe.
Okay, so yeah, my speak with animal spell only lasts 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
that's gone.
Yeah.
And I gave up my dagger that let me speak with animals.
You sure did.
That feels like a you mistake.
It feels like a good choice for giving up a thing that you've had since the beginning of the campaign.
Well, he said something that made me hear another word for attunement, and that was the thing that I was attuned to.
Oh, I gotcha. Something of great value was the gist.
Yeah, but it was something else he said. I don't know exactly what the words were, but I think it was like bonded or something.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
I was
Soulbound.
like, oh, okay.
Soulbound.
Soulbound, that was the one. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
attunement items, guys. We're all giving our attunement items, right? I'll go first.
That's a good interpretation of that. I didn't even think about that. No, I was more just thinking like things you hold dear, hold like possessions you have. Yeah. I mean, you know where you're going, Tide.
Okay, so yeah, he'll lead the others into the cave. Um,
You.
I
Uh-huh.
Leon will like follow hesitantly and I'll be like, I think we should have a better plan to get past the giant spider than me just asking, but I guess I'm coming.
You head to the mouth of the cave. From deep in the shadows, you begin to hear this cracking, crunching kind of sound that echoes within, like the snapping of old branches. And then silence. And it's not for long, but eventually you hear another sound, something that breaks the stillness. It sounds like labored breathing, slow, uneven, like the bellows of a bellows heaving at a dying fire. You can Tide, especially you, peer into the dim mouth of the cave, and just inside the interior sits an old man on a rock, far older than any human on Kyrios. His body's frail and his form hunched over as if he can hardly bear the weight of his own years. His skin is pale and stretched over a thin frame, long beard flowing down over moss-covered robes. He's got wiry hair that hangs limply about his shoulders. His clothing all looks to be crafted from the forest itself, robes made of moss and a belt woven from vines. His head droops slightly, as though even holding it up is kind of an effort. The silence stretches, and then with great effort, the old man raises his head, his eyes, tired, ancient, meet yours, Tide. My old friend.
and Tide hesitates for just a second. Just at the state of seeing him this way, it's probably clear if you're perceptive that maybe he wasn't quite expecting this. And then he'll go forward and greet the man.
I never expected your return.
Of course, that's what the journey was about. I didn't think all this time would weigh on you so heavily.
Tide, my friend, it's been a lifetime. But it's good to see you.
And you, I'm sorry there was ever any doubt.
He takes another labored breath, and his body kind of shudders as he breathes in. He looks at the party. His eyes seem a little hollow, yet somehow filled with both a deep and profound sadness and hope. Slowly, it seems to be painfully, he rises from the rock. He holds onto this long wooden staff and he presses into the ground to raise himself high. His legs kind of tremble as though they could give out. We have much to discuss. Let us retire.
Okay. I have a friend here that is in dire need of some help.
Yes. This I see. The mother has told me. Let's speak more. He kind of turns and slowly begins leading you further into the cave. As you walk, the cave seems to be pretty well carved out from the years spent perhaps as a spider. Um, Inside, he leads you to this interior chamber. And the walls are somewhat bare. In fact, the whole area is just kind of like the bare trappings of some kind of room. You see a bed made out of soft moss and flattened root, still very much alive and connected to the trees outside the cave. There's a makeshift kind of table with some overgrown vines and a stump for a chair. And at the far end of this interior room is a more comfortable looking, almost like an armchair, also made of living trees, vines, roots, etc. And he maneuvers over to it and begins to sit down, and you can see the vines kind of come up to meet him and lower him into the chair. And you hear the chair creak and kind of adjust as he sits. But he does sit himself down and waves a hand, and you see brush and vines kind of all grow up and twist from around the ground, all around the room, and it creates this little bit of circular type seating all around him. And he offers you another hand, kind of points to the seats if you would like to have a seat.
Tide will take a seat.
Yeah, Leon will have one too.
I actually
We'll
should.
try and just get Viz comfortable.
Yeah, you give Viz one of the nice chairs.
I think Anna's gonna stand sort of by the door.
Totally fair. Picture for
Tinka
reference.
puts Beef in Viz's lap and moves.
This
Just
guy.
leaves Beef with Viz.
Love it. As you all are taking seats, he says, I haven't much to entertain with. Just a few berries, but they should suffice. And similar to as you've seen before, except a little bit different flair, he holds out his wrinkled hand from underneath this mossy sleeve. And as he does so, these 10 good berries, all ripe and attached by little stems to the actual cloak, are form, and he starts plucking them off and puts them in the top of his walking stick, which he holds over to you instead of getting back up for you to take. And Tide, he motions over to you to come sit next to him in the nearest seat.
Okay, I'll take that seat.
As he's handing these out, he says, take, eat, keep your strength. You'll most likely need it here. Once they're kind of all out, everyone can just have a good berry. I think Viz especially takes one and eats it, and you kind of see a little bit of light return to his eyes, but not for long. Tired looking at you, he's still hardly lifting his head. It seems like his whole head is a very heavy weight. Tell me, friend, why have you come? And who are all these who travel with you?
This is my crew. We've been adventuring for the better part of a year now, and well, I didn't intend to be back as quickly, although it seems like I should have been. I I had nowhere else to take him. I don't know how to fix this.
He looks at Viz and can see enough. The wound is still grotesque. Viz's head is also hung low. He's breathing and it's pained and slow, and when he breathes too deeply, he winces. This whole time, he's like tightly clutching the bandaged wound, and he seems quite delirious. Your friend is in great trouble. So you've come to seek the Tyr's help.
Yes.
I'm afraid, my friend, I have not the strength to go to Eosara's Tyr again. She has wept no more in recent years, and thus my strength is failing. But you may go. You know the way.
Okay, I understand.
Tell me, will you be staying again, or do you intend to leave?
Well, takes a moment. When I first set out on this journey to come back, I didn't think I was ready. But seeing you now, the Tyr needs a keeper. I'm ready for my final test.
When you say that, he nods. Yes. For now,
he'll
take your friend.
Kind of gesture towards the rest of the group and he'll say,
Mhm.
let me be judged on them.
I see. You know the Tyr. You know corruption does not dwell here. She shall be your final test. Should she accept your friend? Should she perform her duty? That will be enough.
Okay.
He kind of gestures towards the doorway, the entryway. You know where to go from here. It's another almost straight shot further down through this cave into a cavern with an opening above. You, now that you're speaking about it, you know Eosara's Tyr is the name that was given to what the Kyrians refer to as the fountain. You know from your time before that Assam always referred to it, but never really spoke of why or how he knew such a name. That's just what he's called it. But he sits back, kind of resolute. You, with your high passive perception, you can make out like the mixed emotions he has from you being here. Glad, but at the same time, something deep down that he's uncertain about. He kind of looks away as you all begin to rise and kind of like walk towards this cave where you'll have to like walk through into the cavern. I'll wait here. Come find me after.
Okay. Do you need anything?
I will be fine. For now.
All right. He'll get up and lead the way.
It's still a little bit of a trek to this cave interior. The passage is a little twisty and windy. It rises and falls, and as you venture deeper, it becomes more and more difficult for Viz, to the point that Tundra does have to begin actually carrying him through. But after some time, you reach what looks like an opening into an inner chamber, this cave space. But instead of just a natural opening, there seems to be this carved kind of stone nature to it. Similar architecture that you've seen once before, if anyone wants to give me a history check. Yeah. You guys are rolling when it's important. You've seen this architecture before, not the exact same type of architecture, but what has happened. And this looks like a place where worlds collided. The same thing happened when you found the shard where Silwyn died, where the palace was kind of stuck in this interior cavern space. But there's these carved pieces of stone all against this archway that lead inward. This remnant of ruined architecture. It's old and foreign, and it's not quite the same as what you've seen. And the crystalline nature of the other one was very clear after you passed that way, that it was part of the Feywild. The Ina Garden type palace structure is very similar. But here, this is not the same. It's strange. There are symbols scrawled across the remaining pieces that are there. The language is not common, but it's some kind of ancient script. And Tide, the last time you were here, you dedicated yourself to trying to learn and study these symbols. Asim had uncovered them long ago, and even then, the interpretation was crucial to understanding the meaning. Toward the end of your 5-year tenure with him, you had gained enough insight to begin translating these symbols. And the words written above the entrance, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." As you reach this entryway into this inner chamber again, you see the script, once again scrawled across the top, strange and foreign. But unlike before, there appears to be more script, as if part of the wall, the cave interior, had collapsed and revealed more of the archway structure. So you can see more script that's visible. You once again make out words you once translated. This word for hope, Veskar. And the word for enter, Jorah. The word for abandon, Talrun. This time, as you're standing at this precipice, that word, the word that you translated as abandon, doesn't read quite the same as you stand in front of it. Talrun, the word literally translates as end, or at least that's the closest word in common. The phrase, Talrun, Veskar, Zora, end hope who enter. You translated that as abandon hope, abandon all hope. Your days sailing, your history, it makes sense to read it as such, abandon hope. This time, you've seen a lot more, you know a lot more. You see these words and realize this is maybe not quite the original meaning, or it doesn't mean abandon, but rather can also read the final. The second word, enter, similarly, there's no clear translation, but rather a transliteration. Enter seems to imply see inside. You have this moment of revelation, seeing these words again. Talrun Veskar Jorah. The final hope of those who seek. Then there's this second part of the phrase that's now visible. Narathis Soliri Varon. Narathis. It takes a minute. The transliteration doesn't come to you at first, but then eventually you understand. Hold within. Soliri, the word most closely relating to radiant truth. Varhon similarly takes some time, means bring back or return. The literal translation here, reading it first, hold within the radiant truth and return, it doesn't really fit. The context is weird, it's off, it doesn't read quite right. So you sit with it for a minute. the rest of you, while this is happening, kind of watching Tide put these pieces together. And then it clicks. Embrace light and restore. This whole transliteration, instead of abandon all hope ye who enter here, reads the final hope of those who seek. Embrace the light and be restored. And a memory comes back to you from long ago, standing in this doorway as a much younger man. Words from Asim. Do you know why we protect this place, Tide? We stand vigilant over this sacred wellspring. It's not simply life that it bestows, but balance. Balance for those like us. Those who strive to preserve, to uphold what is good and fruitful. Those who are willing to embrace the gift that Eosara's tear can offer. Yes, this spring does grant life, but not merely just a sense of longevity. Of course, that has happened, but for those who choose to reside here, she grants long life. She can grant years beyond count, but more than that, far more, she offers something intangible. The essence of life itself. She grants perspective. She deepens our appreciation for all that lives and breathes and exists. Through these waters, we come to understand the true sanctity of life, the value of choice, the wisdom to embrace what lies beyond our control, what cannot be changed. Eosara, in her grace, gives us understanding. But for those who would come seeking selfish to gain, for those who would defile the gift she offers, who seek not to preserve life but to exploit it, for power, for greed, these waters offer no sanctuary. These waters consume. As surely as fire consumes the wicked, these waters cleanse corruption with absolute finality. Eosara will not be profaned, my boy. That memory fades. So you stand here under this archway, once again looking in on the fountain. This wellspring. Eosara's tear. Her name comes back to you fully. The gift of the pale sun. You look up and see her shining in the twilight sky overhead. This pale sun. The smaller of the suns that watches over this world. You stand here yet again, now understanding that for you it was not quite as long, but for Asim, decades have passed. Now in fullness of her words at the entry, the final hope of those who seek. Embrace the light and be restored. Still seems to stand as a warning, but not quite like you thought. Inside, she stands. You walk through the entry gate and you see a few things. The cave opens up to an open-top cavern with the light of the sun spilling in. The floor is covered with dense foliage. At the far end of the cavern is a tree whose roots have grown up and around this strange old stone archway. Through the roots, the tree is spilling water into a spring below. A small, cool pool of water that's gathered below and must drop deep into the cavern below. It's a bit of a long trek, at least through this last piece of the cavern. Maybe not terribly long, but these last few steps are difficult. The overgrowth is a little harder to traverse, and the rocks and stones are worn with age through the interior. Getting Viz there is not going to be impossible, but you notice as you walk through, he kind of begins to fade. He drops. Even inside of Tundra's arms, his whole demeanor, his whole posture shifts. This weighs heavy on him. And as you draw closer to the spring, it feels like carrying Viz is more difficult. Tundra starts moving slower, as if he seems heavier and less able to move even on his own. Along the path as they go, Tundra's feet are caught in the growth, and you see as he walks, he begins to stumble along. Make for me a perception check. The DC is 15. Everybody.
Oh.
It's a lot of successes. For those of you who passed, you hear faint whispering in the air. Impossible to make out the words, but you can hear it ever so faintly. But you all move forward, trudge onward.
Leon's gonna I think he's gonna notice that Thunder needs help, so he's just gonna start helping, and then he's gonna kind of look around for the source of the sound as well.
Yeah, make for me an investigation check, and then what are you gonna do to aid Tundra?
Okay, first investigate there. I guess he's this big golem or whatever, so I guess let's see here. Probably just because you were just kind of saying it seemed like the burden was there, so just kind of helping him find his way, I guess. Maybe helping if the burden seems to the shifting of weight thing, maybe he'll try to steady it with mage hand or something like that. Just trying to help him along the way. He's struggling. Leon wants to help.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, you're able to kind of call out and help maneuver, and maybe even pulling some of the brush out of the way, or pushing it out of the way, so he can take these steps more assuredly. Yeah, absolutely. With your investigation, you don't see anything. You can hear the whispers, though.
Does anyone else hear that? What could it be?
Timothy's just gonna go, hear what?
Can I?
Ding is also gonna go. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Are you going crazy?
Leon will do his best imitation of you don't hear that?
I hear it. I'm surprised they don't. Can I do an investigation
Yeah,
check to see if I can
absolutely.
make out what it is? These are all my best stats, man. Oh,
Okay.
16.
Is Anna really surprised that Timothy doesn't catch on to anything?
Anna's surprised that she's hearing something that other people don't, because my passive perception is 9. I miss everything. So the fact that Anna's hearing
it's
something
fair.
and other people aren't, she is very surprised.
It's a good day. Yeah. Um, you look around. You notice leaves in the trees are kind of moving. It seems to be maybe a little bit of wind here, but you can't really pinpoint where these whispers are coming from. They echo off the walls in this place, so it's hard to identify where their source is.
Can't make out where it's coming from.
Yeah, I couldn't either. It just I can hear it, but I can't figure it out.
Does it sound like something living or like wind?
Sounds like incomprehensible whispers on the wind.
Call to it.
Hello? Is anything there? I don't think it worked.
Well, move towards it.
Should we just keep
Tide,
going?
do you want to lead the way?
Is this
I think we just keep
is this something
going.
that's normal for here?
You've never heard it before.
Okay. Yeah, I hear it, but I don't remember hearing it before. But we have no time. We must keep going. And he'll step forward.
Yeah, you trudge onward. All of you trying to help along, right? Like you could easily, all of you could just walk, but you're trying to help Tundra carry a weight that shouldn't be so heavy. But you do see he steps forward slowly, slowly, slowly. It takes far too much time to walk just these few hundred feet since the entrance, but eventually you do make it to close to where the pool is. You can see where he places Viz down close to the pool, and Viz collapses just onto his hands and knees. He's gasping for breath and choking. You can see the black Icarus festering wound has spread tremendously just in these short few hundred feet from the entrance. The black blood is thick in his veins, and you can see it even moving under his skin and webbing out. It's now covering almost his entire body. It's all over his face, all over his chest and his arms. It's consuming him.
What was that? Leon will like try to like listen closely to whatever he thought he just heard, like on the wind.
Make another perception check. You got exactly what the DC was here. The whispering, you can hear it a bit more distinctly. It's still faint. It's a feminine voice. And you can make out what sounds like maybe parts of an incantation. The longer it goes on, the more you can see the thick black blood spreading faster through Viz's veins until it's everywhere. He's coughing, choking, gasping for breath. What do you do?
I think whatever it is, I think it's speeding up whatever's happening to Viz. I think we either need to end it somehow or get him in the water as soon as possible. Whatever this chanting is, it's making this spread faster.
Can you repeat the chanting? Are you able to hear it enough to know what they're saying?
I'm gonna try something else, and Leon will actually cast silence around
Amazing.
Viz from the book.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole area falls silent. You no longer hear the whispering. Those who are outside of 120 feet, I don't know that anyone would still hear it reverberating off the walls, but where you are is just stillness. Viz's body convulses as the black blood surges through him, but it seems to stop. Though, as deeply as it has moved, it still seems like it's trying to consume what little remains of his strength. And as he coughs, he begins to cough up the black ichor, spewing from his mouth and spilling onto the floor, and he reaches out, clawing desperately at the ground with a final strained breath.
Hurry, let's put him in the water. And Leon will do the best to like get him in the water and start whatever healing or whatever we can do into the wellspring.
Make for me a strength check.
Okay, I was debating putting my 1 point in this, so I'll just I will. So this is actually going to be a 0 instead of a -1, but I haven't done it yet. Okay.
Okay. 13.
Well, that's actually a 13. Yeah.
I did it contested. It's enough. You, and I'll say with the help of Tundra, you're able to lift and kind of carry him to the water's edge. You see as he's coughing up this black ichor, it spills into the water, and it seems to like as soon as it touches the water, it dissipates, and the water begins to ripple and roil, and you take him to the edge, and he tumbles forward into the pool. The water of the fountain ripples, disturbed by his fall, but within moments the pool grows still once more, this eerily calm despite what's just happened before you. You don't see him. It's as if almost like when he passed into the pool, he's just dissipated. You don't see his form under the water anymore.
uh, Leon will kind of like look around, like, what happened? Tide? Is this what happens?
Asim said that he hadn't been able to get ESR to produce any tears. Is
Yeah.
that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
He'll motion for Leon to cancel his silence spell.
Right,
Oh yeah,
'cause you
yeah,
guys are silenced.
right. Yeah, Leon will dismiss the spell.
Upon that and seeing that Viz has disappeared is what I'm getting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're just gonna send him a message and say, "Are you with us?"
You get no reply.
Is this what's supposed to happen? What? I put him in the water. I thought that would save him. What happened?
Tide will call out. ESR, are you with us?
You hear those whispers loudly. They're not her. They are something other, blocking whatever's here. Whatever would be here.
Well, then let's find her.
There's something stopping her. We need to fix this now.
Can I do divine sense again?
Mm-hmm. It's within 60 feet, right?
Yeah, and I'm willing to like move around a little bit, but like as close to the whispers as I can get.
Yeah. You cast divine sense. It's weird. Here you don't get a sense of the celestial. As you traverse kind of around some of this area, it's nothing. And then far back at the end of this cavern, if you venture that far, a couple 100 feet away from your friends, you do get this sense of fiend.
Guys, there's something over here. I'm going to get as close to the fiend as possible, and like ideally within about 30 feet of it. A little less than 30 feet. And I'm going to use my channel divinity to turn the faithless.
Okay.
So, as an action, you present your holy symbol, and each fae or fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature's turn for 1 minute or until it takes damage.
Yeah, you do this, and I'm gonna, for rule of cool, I'm gonna let this work. It doesn't seem to be like a being, right? And I'll say, like, with your divine sense and with this turn the faithless, it's like you command this element of religion that you command into this space of irreligiousness. It is not a being, but you do get this flash from the corner of a script that's carved into stone.
Can I tell what the script says?
Do you speak Abyssal?
Fucking hell.
Nope.
I used to.
Hard to say.
Does the fiend presence leave? Because I'm going under the big assumption that that's what was blocking the goodness from doing its job.
Yeah, no, it doesn't go away. It shows you where it was, basically. For the rule of cool, I'll say it's like helped you identify its location. You still hear the whispers. They're loud over here.
You said the writing lit up?
Yeah, the location,
I would call
her.
people over and point it out.
I will stand next to Anna and cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Yeah, you see it. You see almost like the transcription, and you as a wizard especially have seen stuff like this before, right? It's like a stored spell almost that you can temporarily have carved into something, right? Whether a stone or a scroll or something. But it's active. You can sense that it's active.
And it appears to be the negative spell.
Yeah.
Okay, can I attempt to cast Dispel Magic at 4th level?
Hell yeah.
I don't know how this works, so bear with me. Make an ability check using your spell casting ability, so just like an attack.
Whatever your actual spell casting roll is. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, and then hold on, I add something to it. At the 4th level or higher, make an ability check. My brain is not working. Can someone help me?
Basically, like if you cast it at a high enough level, it's unopposed. It just stops, right? Whatever it is. This is a
Okay.
high level spell. So I'm rolling, and I rolled a natural 1. So you dispel, as you're casting this spell. What does it look like for Tinka in this moment as she identifies this source of evil that's preventing Viz from being healed?
I think it's pure rage. Like if you could read her mind, it's you are not taking him. You are not stopping this. You're not going to make this take longer. And it will just look like the black ichor being pulled from the wall.
I love that. Yeah, as this is happening, you begin to see like the fabric of this spell kind of like for you're able to like detect where this magic is. It seems as if the spell is breaking apart as you're casting, and very quickly it shatters into nothing and the whispers cease. I need you to make for me an intelligence saving throw.
Is this against magic?
It is against magic.
It'll just be a straight roll because I have an advantage against magic, but I'm also exhausted.
Perfect. It's enough. You feel the same thing you felt once before, a little bit like in your dream, but this time you resist, where you know it's Morrigan, and she's tried to pierce your mind, but nothing happens.
Everyone, it's the blood mage. Stay on alert. I don't know where she is, but she's done this.
With it dispelled, Leon will look around for Viz. Is he around?
You look back towards the pool. You don't see him in the water. The ripples have subsided by now. It's just still water. You can look down into the pool and you see how deep it is, but you should be able to see him if he was there. This pool does go straight down.
Leon will
Can I
kind
look for him?
Yeah, like Tide, what's going on here? He disappeared. We dispelled the evil thing. We don't see him. What is this place?
He'll call out again for you, sir.
Make for me a fate dice roll with advantage. You need either a neutral or positive response.
What's the command to roll it again?
Slash fudge, I think is what it is. Or you could just do the dice roller for fudge. R/fudge.
I love fun.
Wait, what?
I think it's just like, R/fudge. No, that's not it. What is the actual command?
On the dice on Roll20, you can
Yeah.
just click it.
Yeah, if you go to the
1D,
sort
yeah.
of side thing right below measure, you can select the dice from there that you want to roll, including
okay.
fudge.
There you go. Yeah. All you needed was a neutral or positive response. You call out, and you begin to hear the sound of water rushing. It seems to have been trickling from the tree so far, but this time it begins to pour from the roots, and the pool below begins to roil and rumble. From the midst of the pool, you feel a tremor. It runs through the grounds of the cave, and it's faint at first, but it grows. As the rumble deepens, dust and rocks begin to fall from the steep cavern faces in the interior. A deep rumbling rises from the spring somewhere deep, deep, deep in the waters. Still waters are churning and roiling violently, splashing as something stirs in that depth. Suddenly, you see a light, soft and dim, like the glow of two distant suns piercing through thick mist far below the surface, a pinprick at first. And the light begins to shine from below, as if the world itself begins to open. It grows brighter, stronger. The light intensifies, its radiance surging from the depths as the spring begins to rumble over. The water spills onto the ground. And then, with this great surge of water, Viz bursts forth from the pool, gasping for air, his chest heaving as he takes in deep, powerful breaths. He pulls himself from the water, and you see it. Immediately, his strength has returned. His frail, weakened frame is gone, replaced by this figure of power and vitality, muscles rippling beneath the skin, which now glisten with an ethereal sheen, these golden flecks sparkling across his skin, catching the light, as if kissed by something divine. No longer does he bear the marks of corruption. The black ichor is gone, his flesh unblemished. Even the deep wound that had been threatening his life for these last months is healed, leaving no scar, no trace of the suffering he's endured. Still drenched, he rises to his full height, standing tall, shaking the water from his arms. He seems somehow taller, nearly 7 feet tall. His movements are fluid, filled with newfound strength and grace. He looks at all of you. He raises a hand. Silent request for space. He steps out of the pool, looks into the opening above in the roof of the cave. He removes his outer cloak, waves his hand, and begins to ascend into the sky. As he rises, the light of the sun is shining down in these flecks of glittering gold, leaving this ethereal beauty to his form. As he reaches the surface of the cave above, his form begins to shift. His long locks turn into these metallic gold and black hues, his face and neck elongating, his muscles stretching and growing, and the golden flakes in his skin turn into shining golden scales as he shifts his enormous dragon form. Larger than before, this dragon covers the entire opening of the cave above, blotting out the light from both suns under the shadow of its mighty wings. One powerful beat of his wings, a gale of wind blows downward into the cave, sending water and dust spraying through the cavern. You see him rocket upwards. He lets out a thunderous roar into the night sky, and it rattles the ground. Tide, with your high perception, you notice something. Back at the mouth of the cavern, the bird. Make for me an insight check.
Did it get the spider?
I'm pretty sure the old man was the spider.
Oh.
You recognize this bird. You've seen it before. Not usually a form he takes. Not his human form, but a wild-shaped eagle nonetheless. You know he prefers his spider form. In this moment, though, it seems a little bit more appropriate that he took on the form of something less intrusive. He's been watching as these moments have transpired. He flaps slow wings and is able to muster strength in this form to fly nearby. Music doesn't feel right. Here we go. He lands on a rock. He perches and stands there for a moment as this bird and surveys the scene. He looks upward to the mouth of the cave that Viz has just flown through, and high up above, when you all look, you can see Viz soaring circling. The shining golden glow. He looks happy, he looks free. And the bird looks back at you. His feathers are grayed, and even in this form, you can see his eyes tied, this deep wisdom of long years in service. Tired but vigilant. Resting a moment longer, you watch as he drops this feathered form and changes back to his human self. He shakes his body, and the feathers all fall to the ground as his human version is left behind through the transformation. He stays seated, but with a wave of a hand, you watch as his staff grows from a root nearby, extending back into his hand and then releasing itself into his grasp, where he leans against it once more. Soft breeze begins to move through the cavern. Perhaps from the beating of the wings of the dragon soaring above, or perhaps something more divine. You see the light from the open chasm above peek through more radiantly as glints of gold shine here and there through the leaves. It's still here now. You can hear the running water trickling from the roots of the tree down into the spring below, and the sound of wind rustling through the leaves. This magnificent tree. He sits and watches. Smiles. She allowed me back. So I came.
Hyde will nod his head. And he'll step forward and he'll call out once more.
The blend that is circling seems to pick up. The rustling of the leaves quickens. You feel her. I have served this. Go ahead.
Sorry. Tad says, thank you for healing my friend, for allowing Asim back. I'm glad we could help in any way we could. And I have one more favor to ask. He's tired. His job has been done well. Please, allow me to take his place as the keeper of the tier. Judge me on those I brought with me. They should show you I can judge character.
The wind blows, circles. You feel even more just how much this is. It feels right. Something here feels like you're supposed to be here. You look at Asim and he speaks. I've served this place for lifetimes. Protected it. Kept it sacred. This land, these waters, they have sustained me. He pauses, his frail body still leaning heavily on the gnarled staff that seems to be as much a part of him as it is the earth itself. His breath, slow and deliberate, doesn't seem quite as pained as it did before, and he looks at you with a knowing in his eyes. But even I am not what I once was. His gaze never wavers as he speaks, each word filled with boundless wisdom and also an acceptance. It is fate, you see. This is no mere coincidence, friend. I see in you a strength that once flowed through me. The ground, Solvana, the fountain as you've called it. They have chosen a new guardian. His voice softens, yet somehow in this moment also kind of grows stronger, purer. One much stronger than I, but no less compassionate, no less capable. His eyes narrow, searching yours. Do you hear her, Tide? Do you hear what she's saying? She calls for you.
Yes.
There's a moment of stillness where the world seems to hold its breath. The sound of wind rustles through the leaves overhead. The faint trickling of water continuing from the roots of the great tree. All around you, the air feels alive with her presence. Friend, this will mean sacrifice. It will mean giving up everything you have ever come to know and to love. But she will reward you with something much greater if you let her.
I understand.
He reaches out a trembling hand and places it gently against your chest. His touch is light, but as soon as it makes contact, the air thickens, and a strange warmth begins to spread through the space between you. Around his outstretched arm, you watch as roots begin to sprout up from the ground, these same orange glowing roots you've just witnessed from hours before. They encircle his aged arm. They glow with a soft golden light. The wind continues to circle, and the roots grow and they weave around his hand and begin to spread across your chest, binding the two of you. The roots are warm, and to your surprise, not rough, as you would expect, but rather soft and gentle. They pulse with life, as though Solvana herself is reaching out to you to bind you to the land. The golden light spreads from Asim's palm, pulsing, warm, and slow at first, but soon growing stronger, more vibrant. The three of you, Tide, Asim, and the glowing roots, the symbol of Mother Solvana, all encircled by a nearly divine light. It grows, swirling softly around you, humming with ancient energy, filling the air with the scent of fresh earth and rain. In these moments, your mind opens and you feel energy flood through you like a wave of warm water, rushing into your very soul. It carries with it centuries of knowledge, wisdom passed through Asim's lifetime, but there's a deeper connection here. Connection to the sacred land that you stand on. Something deep. And something far greater. You can feel her, the great Mother Solvana. You hear the whispers now. New whispers. Peaceful whispers. The whispers as they should be. The land, the trees, the waters, they speak on her behalf. And though she has no voice, it is through her that each has their own. And each begins adding their voice to the chorus. Welcome home, Guardian. Peace to you, Protector. We have waited for you. The roots shall hold you as you hold us. The waters are yours to keep.
The winds carry your name.
The whispers surround you, gentle and loving, welcoming you as their own. You feel their trust, their ancient reverence, all passed down into you in this moment. And you realize the magnitude of responsibility you're taking on. Solvana is now part of you, and you a part of her. Asim's hand grows heavier on your chest for a moment before subsiding into almost weightlessness. You see his body tremble under the weight of this transference. His breathing slows, and then, as the last vestiges of the golden light begin to fade, his form seems to soften, almost as if he is fading from the physical world. And with a gentle sigh and a quiet voice, he speaks his final words with a faint smile on his lips. You will do well, Tide. You are the strength of Solvana now.
Thank you, Asim.
As the golden light dims from his hands, he begins to fall to the ground, carried by the roots, not in death, but in union with the Great Mother. His body becomes one with the roots, as if the very land is welcoming him home. The roots grow around him, cradling his form in their soft, glowing embrace. His body seems to fade into the ground, and the golden light pulses, softly, radiantly, like the last of the setting suns. He does not wither. He is not lost. His form, his essence, is pulled gently into the earth, welcomed by Solvana, returning to the land that he has guarded for so long. The roots continue to grow and glow as they absorb his essence, and soon, where he once stood, only the golden roots remain, pulsing softly with the life of Solvana. And for a moment all is still. The wind ceases, the waters grow quiet, the world holds its breath once more. And then a gentle breeze stirs again, carrying with it the scent of earth and life renewed, and the whispers return. This time whispers among them his voice. For you, the new guardian. You are now the keeper. We are with you always. The land and waters flow through you now. The golden light fades, but the warmth remains, rooted deep within you. You can feel it. Her power, her ancient strength, now rests within you.
He slowly turns to face his friends. And although his blue skin is normally wet, or at least appears that way, you can tell that there are still tears slowly rolling down his cheeks. But he smiles. I didn't think this journey was ending this way, but you must go on without me. I am needed here.
You have to do what you have to do.
We'll miss you, buddy, but it seems like you're needed here.
Give him a little bit salute.
I think Tinka's probably just gonna be bawling and she'll run and hug him, completely untinka.
Thank you for, everything you've done. You've been our captain. You brought us here to heal Viz. Thanks for everything.
Of course. I couldn't have done it, couldn't have made it back here without you all. I was tasked to go out into the world and learn to be a judge of character that could be fit for the guardian of this place. I didn't think I was ready yet, but it seems I am. It's by the acceptance of you all. And with that, he'll take his crown, the crown of ivy, and he'll place it on Tinka's head as she's, I'm imagining, hugging his leg at this point.
Ew, don't make it sound like that.
I mean, that's just how tall you
Kneel
are.
She's
down,
just
you
short.
freak.
You're just short.
Tinka will interrupt and say, I have a gift for you also. I was speaking with Beef, and he wants to stay here with you. And he would like to be called your royal beefiness.
Beef.
That way you don't get lonely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You'll have to teach him a few things, but he'll be good company.
Beef, are you sure? This isn't something you can just reverse.
He steps up and he puts his hands like on his waist, kind of like in superhero pose, and very assuredly like nods his head down and goes, Beef.
Okay. Even the guardian needs a guardian sometimes.
He puffs out his chest. He holds his
Aw.
flute like he's like fighting like a sword. He's like fighting the air.
And then Tide will walk up to Anna, and he will hand her the impossible bottle with the ship inside, as well as the meridian compass. These are yours now, Captain.
All right then. Not Leon?
That's something for you guys to decide, but you were taking on the first mate duties.
All right. I'll do my best. Thank you.
At this point, is Viz still flying around having his zoomies?
Yeah, you can look up, give me a perception check if you want to. Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
You absolutely see him like posted up. I don't think I have a picture of it, but yeah, his golden form just flying. It's like the first time he's flown in months, right? He's been stuck in this humanoid form. Not that he doesn't like it, but he's a dragon, so he's very much stretching his wings. Occasionally, you'll hear this roar just off in the distance, kind of echoing through. And when you look up, you see for the first time, probably ever, the streak of golden fire that he blows out. That is his breath weapon. What you've seen before was what happened after he had the necrosis. It was this black, kind of purplish flame, but now you see it as it's meant to be. The radiant fire bursting forth.
With that, she's gonna use sending, and in Draconic, just going to say, welcome back, my love.
It has been too long.
You can kind of like hear, after the sending, just this deep, raspy laughing in the sky, echoing down. Tide. In those final moments, as Asim's wisdom was flowing into you, and the connection to Sylvana took root, your vision expanded beyond the present. The weight of lifetimes, both Asim's and those before who had this role, they settle upon you, and for the first time you felt the full breadth of Sylvana's power. Real quick for spelling, I'm posting it in the chat. Not that it matters, but Sylvana. Your mind in those moments drifted upwards towards the sky. You were able to see the twin suns that bathe this world in golden hues and blue light, their radiance warming the surface below. You saw the two moons circling slowly around the plain, their cycles perfectly attuned to the rhythms of the land, and from this vantage, you could see the four corners of Sylvana itself, the elemental forces that defined her. You saw volcanoes, the volcanoes of Parothos, their molten rivers glowing against the darkened land. You saw the spires of Erythia, floating islands suspended by invisible winds. The towering mountains of Teramos, where the earth and forest thrive. And in the last corner, the ocean and island chains of Akora, where your ancestors' journey began long ago. Each region pulsed with power of its people, the Genasi, who have lived here since the beginning. You saw the firstborn, each bound to their land, their lives dedicated to Sylvana, the great provider, their mother. The reverence that the Genasi felt for her was overwhelming, and for the first time you understand that depth of devotion. You saw pilgrimages to Eosar's tears through history, the place of healing and peace where only the purest of souls were allowed to come, the place you know as the fountain. You felt the sacredness of this island, this fifth region, this hidden region, its tranquility and the immense responsibility that came with guarding it. Then your vision shifted and you saw the first convergence, the moment when planes collided, tearing pieces of the Great Mother away and replacing them with remnants of dead planets, barren and filled with corruption. You felt her pain as parts of her were ripped away, replaced by dark, dying fragments that threatened to take root, but didn't. You saw the place you sailed by just a few days ago, a place in the mists, with similar ties to dark powers. And you were given your first job as her protector, to break the hold on the rift that's on this plane. You now know that what Leon felt as you were coming in was not exactly what you faced back on Kyrios, but a similar open pathway between the abyssal corruption that lives in the Astral Sea and this place, Sylvana. This is not their responsibility, but it's yours. Sylvana has not yielded. Over time, even the corrupted places have come under her control, and her natural order slowly turned them, though at great cost. And yet, there are still a few remaining rifts. You felt her sorrow, the sorrow of leaving and losing the firstborn Genasi, those who gave their lives to protect her lands and her. But in their place came something unexpected, the gift of humans like Asim, those who had come to Sylvana unexpectedly, but had come to love her and know her as their own. Asim, who had served so faithfully, was now gone. His strength passed to you, but through him, you understand what it means to give everything for this world, to protect it at all costs. he had found his home here, and even though he was not born of Sylvana's soil, took the role on willingly. And now, though not born here, but of here, so have you. On this journey, you never intended to search for home. Nor did you know that you had already found it once before, long ago, on the open seas with your crew. But Sylvana has a way of calling her children back to her, even those who don't realize they belong. Now, you realize that this is your place. You no longer look to the horizon, to the endlessness of the seas for adventure, for life. Sylvana has chosen you as her new keeper, and her strength flows through you. Her wisdom settled into your bones, and the ancient magic of the land has bound itself to you, to your soul. You're no longer just Tide, captain of the Gilded Pride, or Tide, captain of the Dream Driver. You are Tide, the guardian of Solana.
The I'm actually gonna DM you something.
Okay.
Okay. He'll address everyone and he'll say, "Stay as long as you like, as long as you need. I know you have a big battle coming up, and when it's time, I'll show you the way out."
I think Tundra, of all people, will look to the party and try and exhibit what wisdom he can and say something to the effect of, "This has been quite a long journey. Perhaps we take a break before we leave. Is that acceptable?"
Yeah, we should probably rest up for a little bit. Make sure that we're ready to go when the time comes.
Yeah, Leon's gonna agree. I think there's some people with some exhaustion, so we should probably try to have a. Now that we got Viz healed, we should probably have some time to just chill a little bit and relax.
When you talk about how tired you are, how tired you've been, you look down and you notice water is running from the spring. Kind of antithetical to the nature of how this should work. It's like it's moved beyond where it should be, and it's encircling all of your feet, and you begin to feel wet on your feet. But as you do, all semblance of hurt and loss and the pain you felt over the last few weeks and months of traveling, all of it subsides. Everyone gets a full rest, full long rest. Everyone gets to remove all status effects. The ground Sylvana herself responding to your needs. And as that happens as well, you notice the orange roots merging with the water, once again kind of touching just your heels. And you all feel a little bit stronger. Mechanically, you all level up.
Hey, level 8. Let's go.
Tide, by the way, you've hella leveled up.
He's level 20 now.
Right. There's a reason why Tide doesn't come back when Toast comes to visit. We do other characters.
Wahoo!
You all are able to take a long rest, spend some time. Tide shows you back to that inner cavern. And Tide, you actually have like this full understanding of some of the magic that Assam would do. And so you can wave your hands and bring root and vine and this moss to grow. And you create these relatively comfortable bed spaces for people to be able to stay. And you get to share one last night together.
So something slightly embarrassing. And of course, Anna called it out right away. That rally ability that Leon's been using,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was Quartermaster.
Leon's first.
So no, when we were assigning roles, we decided that Leon was first mate, but I would do like the quartermaster stuff. So it was sort of like I was third in command, which is why I blinked and said, "Why not Leon?" Because I thought he was the first mate.
I got that messed up because I thought I wanted Leon to be first mate, but then we switched it to Anna because it just felt more thematic for him to use the rally ability. And I thought that was part because like it says quartermaster and helmsman overseer, so I thought that was like dealing more with the rest of the ship. So the rally ability felt in line with that, and that's where I got confused. So I'm sorry about that.
I mean, if you want to
messed up.
if you want to give it to Leon, we can retcon that, and you can.
Yeah, I do.
Leon.
I do.
Okay, because I was stressing out like, wait, why me?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I really thought because I know I wanted him to be first mate, but then I thought we switched it for some reason, and then I just went back and looked, and yeah, the rally ability is not.
Yeah, no,
quartermaster.
you're all good. Yeah, I'm happy to keep watching the books.
Well, Anna, I would imagine in this void of a first mate.
Now make me first mate.
Yeah.
Which is basically the job of any way as quartermaster.
Sans navigation. Yeah, you get to learn navigational stuff now.
It's either that or we make Duzu the first mate. I mean,
That doesn't
Oh,
feel
God.
like a good
Hell
choice,
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's a
That doesn't
rebirth
feel right.
uprising.
He's going for captain right away. If you don't,
Right,
if you don't put your
exactly.
foot down.
Yeah, no,
so-
it's gotta hand it over. Yeah, we
Why
can
not the
retcon that
captain,
so that
eh?
Yeah,
you can retcon that so it got handed to Leon. Yeah,
yeah.
you're
That
good.
way, there is if it's even ever open up for conversation, he's not letting it go.
All right. Well, then I guess if we're ready, then Leon will have taken the compass and he'll be like, "Thank you, Tide. I'm not sure I'm ready, but I do thank you. We'll keep it safe the best we can. I know you're not coming back, but just know that we'll think of you whenever we're at the helm."
Of course. And that crown, he points to the one Tinka has now. It's still got the koi fish in it.
My crown.
Yes, your crown.
Oh wait, Tinka already has goggles on her head. Actually, she could wear both. It's fine.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, it's pretty gnomish, right?
Fine.
She just puts the goggles down. She's got those big, thick green eyes.
We'll just put it on Viz. It would look good on Viz.
Who you still hear roaring with laughter in the distance.
Yeah. Guys, just let him have his moment. You know when things get zoomies? It's been a while. They'll tire him.
Yeah, an ancient gold dragon with the zoomies. Does anyone else have anything else? If not, I have an epilogue.
I mean, I've been trying to find a good time to go to the bathroom, but other than that, I know.
We're gonna end a little bit soon, I think. I'll do this little bit of last narration to close out Tide's story, and then final words. Tide, as your vision had returned back to the stillness of the island, you could hear the trickling of the water, the rustling of leaves, and the soft whispers of Sylvana's children lingering in the air. You would look down and see the roots beneath your feet, pulsing with the planet's lifeblood. A vision that until now you didn't really have, but you can see her life everywhere, teeming all around you. It's very much as if you are one with the land now. Eosara's tear shimmers before you, its waters calm and eternal. A sacred place you will now protect, not as an outsider, but as its guardian. From here, you will see your friends off from this place, offering them a final farewell and saying all that needs to be said to those whom you've traveled with for so long. And then, like Assam showed you all those years ago, you will walk into the fountain, open its heart, revealing the path back to Kyrios in the archway that she stands over. And as they make their final steps through the portal, you will watch them disappear into the mist, knowing that this will likely be the last time you see your companions. Your time as an Aeonborn has come to an end, but your time as Protector is only just beginning. Years will pass, marked by the rising and setting of the suns, but solitude will never touch you. The ground beneath your feet, the air you breathe, the trees and waters all around you, they will be your companions, along with Beef. Your connection to the Great Mother will grow strong, much stronger with each passing day. Sylvana herself will be your guide, her whispers ever present in the winds, in the roots, in the water. In time, Genasi will come from all corners of the world. They will find their way to the sacred place. You will meet them at the threshold, listen to their stories, share your own. You will rejoice with those who have come to honor her, their pilgrimage a testament to the reverence that they hold for the Great Mother. You will weep with those who have come too late, their hopes dashed by time's relentless march and sorrowful circumstances. And you will stand firm against those who seek to wield the tier's power for selfish purposes, defending it with the strength you now carry within. Like Assam, you will spend hours in meditation, becoming one with nature of this world. You will feel the pulse of the earth beneath your feet, the gentle caress of the wind, and the life in every leaf, every stone, and every drop of water. This island will become your sanctuary, a place of reflection, growth, and endless guardianship. And when the suns set, their light casting long shadows over the land, and the moons rise high, bathing Sylvana in their soft golden glow, you will stand watch. 8 legs, 8 eyes, and a thorny carapace. Then one day, years from now, when the stars align and the worlds shift once again, a young human, lost and searching, will stumble upon your cave. They will be in search of something greater, in search of answers that they don't yet understand. And just as it was for you, the cycle will begin again. You will watch them with the same knowing eyes that once gazed upon you, and you will guide them as Assam once guided you. For though your journey has led you to this place, the story of Sylvana, of Eosara's tear, and of those who protect it is never truly over. It's only the beginning. Always the beginning. And that is the end of Chapter 3 of Kyrios. When we pick back up, it will be at Chapter 4. But one last thing. As you're all standing in this cave, you again feel mighty gusts and hear the powerful swells of the dragon's wings flapping overhead. The great golden dragon lands on the edge of the cavern, looking down to all of you below. As he lands, a rumble through the cavern.
Thank you, dear friend. This world will be safe with you watching over. Now we must go and save my home.
He says to you. He lifts his head, and you can see his powerful form, a bit silhouetted by the light of the two suns above in the sky.
Now let's go kill a titan.
Leon starts cheering. Woo! Let's go!
Tinka's like, it's my turn to rest. Please let me sleep.
Oh yeah, you were gone. You get a full rest. Everything's all done. The fountain restored
Did
you.
you level up?
You did level up.
Exciting! Very cool.
And we're going to call it a little early because that's an awesome end to this story.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah, it
was.
is.
So if the beginning of this chapter was high tide, this must be high tide.
Ooh.
It's probably low tide, and now it's high tide.
Hmm.
No, that's backwards. We're not saying high tide, we're saying high tide.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Do you like that I forced beef on you?
Thank you.
I'm just like, how can we make Tide miserable? Because if this was a real universe, I'm just imagining Tide in like isolation, and every 2 seconds, beef, 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 beef.
A bird's gonna eat beef in 5 minutes. Like,
No, Tide's gonna protect him. It's his royal beefiness.
The last thing you see is as you're surrounded by the mist of the waterfall taking you out, is Tide turned into the giant spider with beef riding him on the back.
It's an incredible visual. Just holding on to this thorny carapace with like a whistle flute in one hand, riding off into the sunset. Well,
How
Toast,
cute.
thank you for playing with us. It's been an honor and pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for running the game and all the work you do in between sessions, and everyone else for being so great in sessions. I've had a great time.
Well, don't be
Yeah,
a
thanks for
stranger.
playing.
We can all play
Mhm.
games still.
Yeah, I'm not.
Plus, like, we could totally do a pummel party night. I think that would be so fun.
I'm down.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not
Oh,
leaving
yeah.
the Discord or anything, so I'll be around.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure you'll be here for one shots occasionally.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Whenever this group, if they inevitably have to miss a week, the first thing I'll be doing is checking if it's a week on for you guys.
Can I please join? Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come up with some cool little one-off characters here and there you can jump in on.
Oh my god, we can make the most ridiculous things for you.
As long as they fit the narrative.
I mean, to an extent. I'm just thinking like NPCs, like barkeeps,
Oh yeah,
blacksmith. Like,
absolutely play NPCs.
we give this store ridiculous names, and he can do whatever accent he wants and give himself some fucking lore.
Love it. Well, guys,
Okay,
I'm gonna
well,
call it here, and we'll pick up. I'll circle back with you guys on when we want to pick up the next session. I've got some prep to do before we kick back off.
Sounds
then.
good. Thanks, everyone.
Good, yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this story, chat. Chapter 4, soon to come. Till next time. Have a good one.